Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to stay weak or do you want to become a warrior? Because pain is the currency of growth. You don't get muscles without soreness. You don't get wealth without sacrifice. You don't get wisdom without suffering. The world is soft, full of excuses. I'm tired. I'm anxious. It's hard. Of course it's hard. That's the whole point. The path is supposed to hurt. That's how you know you're on the right one. Winners don't avoid pain. Pain isn't some curse placed on you by the universe. It's not bad luck. It's not some unfair punishment. Pain is the test. Pain is the filter. It separates the weak from the strong, the boys from the men, the average from the exceptional. Every single successful man you've ever admired has walked through pain. He didn't avoid it. He didn't cry about it. He used it. See, modern society has lied to you. It's told you that you're supposed to avoid pain. That comfort is the goal, that happiness comes from peace, quiet, softness. That if you're in pain, something must be wrong. No, if you're in pain, something is right. You're being sculpted, molded, forged. Every struggle, every setback, every drop of sweat. It's not punishment. It's the price you pay for greatness. Weak men run from pain. They want the shortcut, the hack, the easy route. They want six-pack abs without the discipline. They want wealth without sacrifice. They want confidence without rejection. But pain is the entry fee for power. You don't get to skip the line. You don't get to cheat the grind. You want to win, then bleed for it. I remember days I could barely move from the injuries in the ring. Days I was broke, tired, broken down. But guess what? I showed up anyway, because I understood this. The more it hurts, the more it's working. Champions don't just train when they feel good. They train especially when they don't. That's what pain teaches you. It sharpens you. It humbles you. It kills the part of you that's soft, lazy, average. You don't become disciplined through success. You become disciplined through failure, through frustration, through long nights grinding when everyone else is asleep. You become a man when you've been kicked in the teeth by life and still get back up. Every man has to suffer. The question is, what do you do with that suffering? Some men fold, they get emotional, they start blaming. Life isn't fair. It's not my fault. Pathetic. That mindset guarantees weakness. But the top 1%, the killers, they look pain in the face and say, good, let it hurt, let it test me, let it make me better. You want strength. Pain is the gym, emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain. It's all part of the workout. You lift those heavy moments like you lift weights. You don't skip leg day, and you don't skip heartbreak, failure, rejection, hunger, loss, because on the other side of that pain is your evolution. The problem is, most of you have never suffered long enough to become dangerous. You've never had to fight for your life. You've never had to go to war with yourself, and that's why you're still average. Because you treat pain like an enemy instead of what it really is, a mentor. Pain teaches you more than success ever will. Success feels good, sure, but it doesn't teach you much. Pain teaches you who you really are. It reveals your character. Are you disciplined? Are you hungry? Are you resilient? You only find out when life smacks you in the face. You want to know why you're not where you want to be. It's because you quit when it got painful. You gave up when it got uncomfortable. You tapped out when the pressure came. But pressure makes diamonds, and most of you are still coal because you couldn't handle the heat. Every time I felt pain, I knew I was getting closer. Closer to being a beast, closer to being unbeatable. So while the world was crying, I was climbing. While others were whining, I was winning. Not because it was easy, but because I made pain my ally. I welcomed it. I respected it, I used it. You need to stop asking how do I avoid pain and start asking how do I endure more of it. Because the man who can endure the most pain wins. That's the secret, not talent. Not luck, not motivation, just pain tolerance. So next time life punches you in the gut, don't run, don't break down, smile, because that moment, that exact sting you feel, that's the sign, that's the process. That's how the real ones are made. You're not being punished, you're being prepared, and if you can remember that, if you can embrace that, then there's no limit to the strength you'll develop, because the truth is simple, pain is not the enemy. Weakness is, and pain is the cure. Every man who lives his life chasing comfort is digging his own grave, and he doesn't even see it. The moment you start prioritizing what feels good over what makes you strong, you lose. Comfort is a slow, silent killer. It creeps in disguised as relaxation, as self-care, as taking it easy. But what it's really doing is softening you, making you weaker, fatter, slower, dumber, poorer, and eventually forgotten. You think greatness lives in comfort. You think high performance, wealth, six-pack abs, strong discipline, and elite success come from staying cozy. No. Those things are earned in discomfort. In pain, in doing the sh*t you don't want to do, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Comfort is a lie, and most men are living in that lie. You wake up in a soft bed in a warm room, check your phone, scroll TikTok, snooze your alarm. You eat what tastes good instead of what fuels you. You work only when you're in the mood. You train only when it's convenient. You avoid confrontation, responsibility, pressure, and you call it balance. That's not balance. That's weakness. Comfort robs you of your edge, and once you lose your edge, you lose your advantage. The world doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the obsessed, the focused, the disciplined killers who wake up every day and chase pain because they understand. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Look at history. Every empire was built through discomfort. Every warrior was forged in hardship. Spartans didn't sleep in silk sheets. Gladiators didn't skip training because they were sore. Kings didn't rise by playing video games and ordering food delivery. They suffered, they endured, and they earned power. Your life reflects what you tolerate. If you tolerate comfort, mediocrity will flood your reality. If you chase struggle, power will follow you. The more you lean into discomfort, the stronger you get. Why do you think elite military forces train in freezing rain, without food, in total exhaustion? Because discomfort conditions the mind, it builds mental armor, it makes you unstoppable. Most men today crumble under pressure because they've never chosen struggle. They've avoided every challenge that didn't come with immediate reward. They want 6 figures, but they won't read one book. They want confidence, but won't face rejection. They want a ripped body, but skip workouts when it's cold. If you want to rise above average, you have to stop living like the average man. That means making choices that are uncomfortable on purpose. Wake up early, train hard when you're tired, eat clean when your body craves trash. Say no to distractions, confront your fears, do the hard thing. Even when there's an easier way, it's not about torturing yourself, it's about mastering yourself. You must teach your body and your mind that they don't run the show, you do. And that kind of discipline is forged in discomfort. Every time you reject comfort, you become stronger. Every time you embrace hardship, you become sharper. You become more dangerous, because here's the truth. Comfort never made anyone legendary. Comfort never built an empire. Comfort never made anyone respect you. Men aren't respected for what they feel like doing. They're respected for what they do anyway. When you choose comfort over challenge, you weaken your spirit. When you choose challenge over comfort, you awaken a beast inside you that few men will ever know. That beast is your potential, and it only comes out under pressure. The reason you feel stuck, anxious, depressed, it's not because your life is too hard. It's because it's too soft. You've got no fire, no intensity, no pursuit of something bigger than your emotions. You've traded discipline for dopamine, power for pleasure, and now you're wondering why you feel empty. Because you were born for more, but more only comes to those who suffer for it. Every time you reject comfort, you cast a vote for the man you want to become, the king, the machine, the elite. That man doesn't hide from pain. He hunts it. He understands that struggle sharpens him. That fatigue is part of the process. That discipline isn't always exciting, but it's necessary. So burn the comfort zone to the ground, because comfort breeds weakness. Discomfort breeds dominance, and if you want to be remembered, respected, and feared, you have to earn that through pain. Don't let comfort rob you of your future. Choose challenge. Choose discomfort. Choose strength. You don't control your emotions, then you don't control your life. That's the cold truth. Every man walking around getting emotional about rejection, failure, criticism, disappointment, he's already lost. Because the second you let your feelings dictate your actions, you hand over your power. You become a slave to circumstance, a puppet of the world, controlled, weak, predictable. Real men are not driven by emotion. They are masters of it. You think the world respects emotional outbursts. You think greatness is achieved through mood swings and tears. No, it's achieved through calmness under pressure, discipline in chaos, strategic thinking in emotional storms. A man who can stay composed when everything around him is burning, that's a man you respect. That's a man you fear. Weak men overreact. They get angry easily. They get sad and spiral into depression. They get jealous and start chasing women out of insecurity. They make decisions based on how they feel in the moment instead of what's right in the long term. That's how they ruin their businesses, their relationships, their lives. And here's the thing, feelings lie. Your emotions lie to you every day. Your mind says quit. Your body says rest. Your heart says give up. And if you listen, you lose. That's why emotional mastery is non-negotiable. You want to build something real. Something that lasts, then you have to develop control, not sometimes, not when it's easy, always. Discipline is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. That's emotional mastery. Let's say you're betrayed. Most men cry, sulk, drown themselves in vices, but a man with emotional control, he feels the pain, but doesn't let it control him. He channels that pain into growth, into training harder, working smarter. Coming sharper, that's the difference between being a victim and being a winner. People think emotional control means you don't feel wrong. It means you own your emotions, you use them, anger becomes fuel. Sadness becomes reflection, fear becomes preparation. You bend your emotions to your will instead of letting them bend you into weakness. You ever see a lion panic? No, because it's built to dominate. Same applies to you. You must condition yourself mentally to remain calm, cold, and calculated. No matter the situation, business falls apart, stay calm, breakup happens, stay calm, life hits you with loss. Grieve like a man, silently with dignity, then get back up and go harder, because here's the secret no one tells you. People watch how you respond under pressure. They watch when you're down, when life punches you in the face. That's when your real power or your weakness is revealed. A man who can't control himself is dangerous to no one. A man who can't keep his emotions in check will destroy himself from within. But a man who can hold it all together, even when it hurts, that man becomes unstoppable. Most men today, emotionally soft, overstimulated, addicted to instant pleasure, can't handle being alone, can't handle silence, can't handle pressure. They rely on distractions, phones, porn, food, women, just to escape their own mind. That's not strength, that's dependence, that's weakness masquerading as comfort. You want to rise above, then master your emotional state when you're tired, move anyway when you're angry. Don't explode, calculate. When you're heartbroken, you sit. When you're doubted, smile, stay silent, and let your results do the talking. That's how killers operate. And if you don't master this skill, you will always be controlled. By people, by failure, by women, by pressure. Everyone and everything will push your buttons and you'll keep reacting like a child. But once you gain emotional control, you gain leverage in business, in relationships, in war, in life. Men who win in life are those who think while others panic. They move strategically while others react emotionally. They know that feelings pass, but results last, so no more excuses, no more emotional outbursts, no more quitting when it hurts. You feel weak, good. Now dominate anyway. That's emotional strength. You don't rise by avoiding your emotions. You rise by mastering them, and once you do, you will be feared, respected, and untouchable, because in a world full of emotional men, the one who controls his emotions controls his destiny. Everybody suffers. Every single human being alive will go through pain. That's not the question. The question is, what do you do with it? Because pain is the great separator. It's the line in the sand. It divides the soft from the strong, the sheep from the wolves, the average from the elite. See, the sheep complain when life gets hard. They panic, they cry, they look around for someone to blame. Parents, bosses, society, fate. They say, why me? They sit down, they give up, they conform, they go back to comfort. That's what sheep do, because sheep weren't built to lead. They were built to follow, built to be controlled. But wolves. Wolves don't break. Wolves don't complain. Wolves don't look for pity. When pain hits, the wolf gets sharper. He gets focused. He gets dangerous. The wolf grows through the pain. That's why wolves lead the pack and sheep get herded. You've been lied to. Modern society teaches you that pain is a bad thing. that if you're suffering, something's wrong, that life should be easy, that struggle means failure, nonsense, absolute garbage. Struggle means growth, pressure means progress, and pain. Pain is the price you pay to become something legendary. Pain reveals who you are, not who you say you are, who you really are. Anyone can talk tough when things are easy. But how do you act when you've been betrayed, when you've lost everything, when your back's against the wall and no one's coming to save you? That's when the mask comes off. That's when your real identity shows. You ever notice that all the great men in history, every warrior, every king, every champion, went through unbelievable pain? They were forged in fire, and what did it do? It didn't destroy them. It carved them into something unstoppable. Because here's the truth. Pain either breaks you or it builds you, and the choice is entirely yours. You can take that heartbreak, that rejection, that failure, and use it to become better. You can wake up earlier. Train harder, get smarter, hustle more. You can let that pain push you into your highest self, or you can sit there, crying like a victim, feeling sorry for yourself while life passes you by. That's what most men do. That's why most men are forgotten. You know what separates the elite from the ordinary? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's pain tolerance. The top 1% are simply the ones who kept going when others tapped out. They took the punches, they stayed in the ring, they refused to be broken. That's why they lead, and everyone else follows. Look, life is going to hit you hard. You'll lose people, you'll be broke, you'll be betrayed. You'll fail. It's not a maybe, it's a guarantee, but how you respond, that's where your future is written. Wolves don't fold when it gets dark. They hunt in the dark. That's the difference. You want to be strong. Then earn it in pain. You want respect, then prove yourself under pressure. You want freedom, then bleed for it. Stop avoiding the struggle. Stop trying to bypass the process. That pain you're feeling, that suffering you're going through, that's the exact experience that will sharpen you into the man you're meant to become. If you don't run from it, let the sheep chase comfort. Let them drown themselves in excuses, addictions, distractions. Let them keep pretending that life should be soft and easy. While they sleep, you train. While they complain, you build. While they quit, you evolve. Because wolves are built differently. They understand that suffering isn't a setback. It's a signal. A signal that transformation is happening, and only those who embrace the pain will rise from it stronger, harder, faster, more relentless. So don't fear the pain, don't run from it, don't numb it with pleasure or escape it with weakness. Face it, feel it, fight through it, and let it tear down every version of you that's soft, lazy, and mediocre. Then rise and become the version of you the world can't ignore, because at the end of the day, pain is the fire. And you are either the sheep who burns in it, or the wolf who is forged by it. Nobody remembers the guy who gave up. Nobody tells stories about the man who backed down when life got hard. Nobody respects the quitter, the complainer, the one who blamed the world for his circumstances. You want to leave a legacy, you want to be remembered, you want people to speak your name with respect long after you're gone. Then understand this: your legacy is not built in times of ease, it's built in pain. Pain is the forge, pain is the battlefield, pain is the test that separates the men who exist from the men who leave a mark. Every great man, every king, champion, warrior, revolutionary had to suffer before he conquered. They bled, they failed, they were betrayed, broken, doubted, but they kept moving, they kept pushing through the storm. That's why they're remembered. You don't build legacy from comfort, you build it from chaos. Pain gives you a choice, fold or evolve. Weak men fold, they seek relief, they numb the discomfort with distractions, alcohol, drugs, women, video games. They get hurt once and make excuses for the rest of their lives. But strong men take that pain and turn it into a purpose. They channel the suffering into something greater. They create their legacy in the fire. Let me make this clear: nobody's coming to save you. Life doesn't care how you feel. The world will keep turning whether you win or lose, and your emotions, they're irrelevant to results. You want to be a legend, then you have to be willing to hurt for it. You think legacy is made through motivation, through inspiration. No, it's made through discipline and suffering. It's made when you're on your knees and still decide to stand. It's made when you've lost everything, but you refuse to quit. It's made in silence when nobody's watching and you're pushing yourself past your limits anyway. You think Muhammad Ali, Kobe Bryant, Elon Musk, or Alexander the Great built their names on comfort. No, they bled, they obsessed, they suffered more than most men are willing to suffer. That's why they were able to rise above most men. The world only respects what you've earned, and you earn everything in the furnace of pain. You earn character through heartbreak, you earn strength through setbacks, you earn wisdom through struggle, and you earn legacy through your response to suffering. Most of you think the goal is to avoid pain. That's your first mistake. The goal is to use pain to let it shape you into something no man can stop. Every time life hits you, thank it. Every time it gets harder, smile, because now you're being given an opportunity to write the part of your story that actually matters. Easy days don't write legacy, hard days do. Nobody cares how happy you were. They care what you built. They care what you fought for. They care what you sacrificed to become something more than average. And when it's all said and done, what they will remember is how you responded when it was all falling apart. That's when your legend is made. Are you the man who broke when life got dark, or are you the man who became dangerous in the dark? When your name is mentioned, does it command respect, or does it fade into nothing? Do you leave behind comfort, excuses, softness, or do you leave behind a story of resilience, fire, discipline, and unshakable power? It's your actions under pressure that define your impact. It's how you lead when you're exhausted. It's how you move when you're heartbroken. It's how you rise when you've been knocked down. That's your legacy. That's your identity, so don't waste your pain, use it. Use it to build your empire, use it to build your body, use it to sharpen your mind, use it to become someone the world never forgets, because every great man you admire, he walked through hell to get where he is. And now it's your turn. Embrace the fire, walk through the pain, and understand that the legacy you leave behind will be written in the blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice you endure right now. So when the suffering comes, and it will, don't run from it. Don't break. Stand tall, look it in the eye, and say, "This is where I become legendary." Because in the end, your legacy won't be measured by how much you avoided pain, but by how much you transformed through it. So here's the truth, and I want you to remember it for the rest of your life. Pain is the process, pain is the path, and pain is the price. You want strength, you want respect, you want legacy, then earn it through pain. Because pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. It's the brutal teacher that forges warriors, kings, and champions. It's the fire that burns away weakness and reveals who you really are underneath. Most men run from it. They seek comfort. They lie to themselves and they die as nobodies. But you, if you're willing to suffer with purpose, if you're willing to endure, to fight, to rise again and again, you will become something this world cannot ignore. Stop waiting for life to be easy. Stop hoping for a way out. Become the man who thrives under pressure. The world belongs to the disciplined, the relentless, the ones who stare pain in the face and say, "Break me if you can. I'll only come back stronger." Because with pain comes strength. With struggle comes evolution, and with suffering comes the power to become unstoppable. This is your story. Write it in blood, build it through sacrifice, and finish it with pride, because you were not born to be average. You were born to be a wolf. Now go earn your legacy.